Hello friends and welcome to the Southern Mountain Kitchen. Today we're going to make a quick and easy stuffing. So depending on where you come from or the way you call it, whatever, you can either say this is stuffing or dressing. Technically, if it goes inside of a bird, it's stuffing. If you're serving it just in a dish, it's dressing. So no matter how you call it, whatever, we're all right about what we're calling it. It just has different terms for different places and different people. So what you see on my counter is what we're going to use to make this. There's really not a lot in this quick and easy version that I'm doing. With the breadcrumbs, you see these cubes that are in the bowl. These are ones you can buy in the store already in a bag. They're either seasoned or not. If you buy them to do this recipe, you probably want to get the kind that are not seasoned, because if you get the seasoned kind, they're going to actually have a lot in them. If you add the seasoning I want you to put in on top of it, it's going to really be a little bit of overkill. So we're going to start off with preheating our oven to 350 degrees, and then we're going to cut up 2 ribs of celery and a medium onion into small pieces because they are going to go into our stuffing. So go ahead, cut them up, make sure you get them in small enough pieces that they're going to cook through when we do this, because large pieces take a lot of time to cook, so it's just easier to make these into smaller bits that are more manageable and they're going to cook a lot faster. So once you get everything cut up here, we're going to get ready for our next step, which is we're going to have to cook these before they go into the actual stuffing mix. So that way they're going to be a little bit more manageable, because if you just put these straight in and you put it in the oven, it's not going to cook. So we're going to put these into a pot, and we're going to start off with a half a cup of butter. And we're going to melt this on medium to high heat, get this going before we start doing anything else. And we can go ahead and add to this at any point our cut up onion and celery, because as these melt, they're going to start cooking. So go ahead and put in everything you cut up. And we're going to give this time to come up to temperature, because once these are in here, we really want them to cook for at least like maybe 6 or 7 minutes to make sure that they actually soften up and cook up, because you really don't want this crunchy hard texture in your stuffing. It's gonna basically be kind of awkward when you're eating it. So we want to soften these up, cook them through, and it's gonna be very obvious when they are cooking through, because the onions will become translucent and the celery will be really soft. Now into this, we're gonna put 3/4 of a teaspoon of poultry seasoning. And that poultry seasoning is just gonna be a little bit of added flavor here for your vegetables. So let's go ahead and mix this up. And we're going to let this cook. And as I said, I give it at least 7 minutes, and then I would test to see if you're actually cooked through at that point. So as these are cooking, you're going to want to stir them around to make sure that they're evenly coated. And as it comes to temperature, it's going to look something like this. And this is to the point where we know they are really cooking, and they're probably about there. That's why I said you have to test them to see. So once we get that done, we're going to move on to the next step. We are putting our bread cubes into our large bowl. There's about 6 cups of these that come in a bag. That's basically all we needed, because this is for a decent amount of people to eat from. If you wanted to do something a lot more, you could add a couple of bags and just double the recipe. So we're going to take everything we had in our pot and pour it on top of the breadcrumbs. And just make sure you get all of everything out of there, the butter and all of it. We just scoop out as much as is in the pan and get it in. And then to this, we are going to add salt and pepper, and I'm doing about a half a teaspoon each. And then added to that, we're doing a half a teaspoon of parsley, a half a teaspoon of sage, a half a teaspoon of thyme. And then we're going to start adding chicken broth. Now I suggest to probably start off with about 1.5 cups as you go through this. Just add it a bit at a time, and then add more as you need to make it as wet as you want it to be. Now some people like a more wet stuffing than others. I like mine a little more on the dry side. So I used about 2 cups in here total, but you might want to use more if you want yours to be more wet. It's just the way it's going to be. It's your choice of how you like to eat this. So if you like it more wet and clingy together, then you're going to add more of the chicken broth. So once you get this in, you're going to keep mixing this and stirring it until you get all of the liquid absorbed into the cubes, and make sure that everything is mixed through. Now you're going to need a pan to put this into, to put it in your oven. I would say anything from like a 9x13 or smaller would do. And then you're just going to pour this into your pan once you get it completely mixed up. Now remember, we have preheated our ovens to 350 degrees because this is going to be in there for 35 minutes with foil over top of it. And then in the last 10 minutes, you're going to come in here and put it in with just no foil at all. So basically it's 35 minutes with foil on, 10 minutes with it off. All of it at 350 degrees. So take your stuffing, dressing, whatever you want to call it, spread it out in the pan evenly. And then we're going to do one more thing to this before we put it in. We're going to add some pats of butter on top of it. So just basically taking a stick of butter and slicing some pieces off. I put about 8 of these on top just to actually let it go through the whole tray. So that way it gets on all of it. This just gives it a little bit of a kick and flavor and the ability to cook. If you don't want to use this, you don't have to. But I do it just to give it a little edge. And this is in the oven, and when it comes back it looks something like this. And this is so quick and easy and has such a great taste, and I really love fixing this. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe. And if you get a chance, check out my cookbooks, which are available in bookstores worldwide. The first is about everyday cooking, the second is all about baking. Have a great day.